Hey guys, I hope you're having a pleasant day. So, the college I teach at, we recently had our faculty orientation because we're getting ready for the semester. And I actually love faculty meetings because you have a room full of all of these personalities. And honestly, college professors are kind of odd. And when you get them together and you allow them to air their grievances, it can be entertaining at times. But on top of that, uh, during orientations, often professors will present things to help prepare us for the semester. So one of the first presentations of the day was a discussion about students using AI and how teachers can combat this. Now, honestly, this is something that math teachers have been dealing with for years because programs or online sites like Wolfram Alpha has allowed students to do derivatives and integrals for some time. And also, students have always had calculators. So, what we've done is we've found ways to work around it where the students can't rely on this technology to help them. But what's happening for English professors and history teachers when they're asking students to write reports, the students can just get the AI to write the reports for them. So, this is what the conversation was about. One thing that came up is that one of the professors complained that the AI was liberal. Another professor complained that the AI was in fact conservative. Now, I think that if you get the AI to write something for you, the result may be a Rorschach that says more about you than the actual product of what the AI puts out. That you interpret it as being conservative or you can interpret as being liberal is up to you. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to contradict this in a bit, but I think it's just what their expectations were. But I think also, I think that their interpretation of what they see as being liberal or conservative really kind of leans more into their personal bias that goes into the whole thing of culture wars. So what happens towards the end of this presentation is that he was saying, well, we have this problem with AI, but it can also be beneficial. To demonstrate this, he used the AI to construct a syllabus for an English class. I've never seen this before. It was actually fairly impressive. For me, whenever I get put a syllabus together, all I do is just get a past syllabus and just kind of make changes through it, the lazy thing, I guess. But what this guy did is he put about 4 different commands, and from scratch, the AI created the syllabus for a English composition class, a freshman English composition class. But there was something that came out that was, to me, interesting and should be kind of focused in on. So it recommended a reading list for the semester. And the reading list, I'll see if I can remember all of this, it was To Kill a Mockingbird, F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. It was 1984 and Hamlet. So at that point, something in my brain kind of kicked in. So I raised my hand and I started by asking everyone, I was like, hey, is there anyone in here who hasn't read any of those books? No one responded to this. I think most people were listening to me. Maybe some people didn't respond because they just didn't care. But I'm going to say that most of the people in that room has read at least one of those books. Now, I do read, I'm always reading, but I'm a kind of a slow reader. So I read maybe 2 or 3 books a month. But I've read all of those books. So we can say that everyone in that room has read at least one of those books. So at that point, I guess I had 2 points. My first point was that demonstrated how the AI is in fact conservative. Now, when I say conservative, I'm not saying conservative in the sense that the AI would vote for a particular political party, but I mean in the sense that it's conservative as it's trying to conserve a particular view. So what we have is we have this list of what are considered great books, and it pulled from those. So I asked the people after I asked if any of them had read any of those books, do any of them actually have a basic idea of how the AI works? And at that point, most people kind of shook their head and their eyes got big. And I just tried to really quickly explain and say, well, all it does, guys, is it goes back and it looks at tons and tons of, documents, and it draws from that. And then there's the probabilistic model of where it predicts what word's going to come next. But it had looked at other syllabi and it looked at a list of great books and it drew from those. I mean, the most obvious list. This list is so common that if you go to anyone who has a 4-year degree or higher, they've read at least one of those books, if not all of them. So in creating this syllabus, it said essentially that these are the books, if you're educated, that you have read, that you're aware of. And that is a very conservative idea, a very conservative attitude. Once again, not in the sense of a political party, but in the actual definition of conservative. So then I said, if you want, or one of the things you can do to combat this issue with the AI is basically come up with a list that's original. Come up with a curriculum that's original. If you choose a book that is a good book, that's a good representation of what you want to teach in your class, but isn't necessarily one that everyone has read, that the AI can't draw from 100 various essays and documents about that book, then when a student reads this book and writes a report on it, the AI won't have as much information to draw from to write an essay about that book. And when the AI does write that essay, it'll be easier to detect it. I don't think anybody paid any attention to what I was saying at that point. I had 2 people come up to me afterwards and say, yeah, I don't think anybody was really ready for your comment. And they just kind of shrugged. And that was that.